Alright, okay. So today we're actually going to be watching a video called 10 Reasons People Are Leaving Christianity. This video is kind of old. It's by the, what's his name? The Friendly Atheist. This is 3 years ago, has almost 500,000 views, and it's going to give you 10 reasons why Christianity is, or people are leaving Christianity. And I wanted to make this video because I wanted to talk about this. Now, I'm not too much of a fan of the Friendly Atheist. I think his reasoning is very off and just kind of childish, and as people have given answers already to these same things. So I want to talk about my favorite arguments, or talk about my favorite excuses of why people leave Christianity. I'm not going to make this into a big part. So my favorite parts, I'm gonna make a video on, but we're gonna see. Let's enjoy this. If you want to support the channel, go down below, hit the link down in the description, get some Goober Can't Reason merch, Atheism Fails merch. Support the channel.
Today, a kid sitting in the pews because her parents made her go to church can fact check the pastor on her phone in real time and know he's lying while his mouth is still moving. So we're not supposed to access that sort of information about the outside world. Young Muslims, Christians, a lot more people who just want nothing. For about 2 decades now, we've seen a really huge shift in this country when it comes to religious beliefs.
Yeah.
A lot fewer Christians, a lot more people who just want nothing to do with organized religion. So why is this happening? I can boil it down to about 10 reasons. Number 1, the internet.
The internet.
If you went to Sunday school as a kid, maybe you asked a question like, why do Adam and Eve have belly buttons in all the pictures? And the teacher didn't answer you, or she told you to just have faith. Or maybe you were older and you asked your pastor if Anne Frank, the Jewish girl with the diary in World War II, was burning in hell right now because she never accepted Jesus in her life. And he just gave you a weird look like you're not supposed to bring that up. But if you had doubts about religion, that's what you did. You asked your priest, you asked a religious leader. Or you asked your parents, who told you to ask the priest. It was really the only option you had. But once there was a way to ask questions about religion in private, online, it became much easier to recognize the problems with faith, and that you're not alone in questioning your beliefs. Just ask ex-Mormons who have read the CES letter, or Christian fundamentalists who finally saw easy-to-understand explanations for how science works and why we don't owe our existence to Noah and his ark. Having information at your fingertips is the worst thing that could have happened to religion, because religion historically relied on people just believing what the priest told them. You're not supposed to figure religion out on your own. You're supposed to go through them. There's a reason the Catholic Church feared the invention of the printing press. People reading the Bible for themselves was not good news. The internet was an even bigger deal for people who grew up in insular communities. Ultra-Orthodox Jews who were not supposed to access that sort of information about the outside world. Young Muslims from conservative families who saw that life was pretty good even if you don't live.
The music's pretty good.
Mormons who looked up Joseph Smith.
I feel like I'm on a call and I'm waiting. I'm waiting for him to actually give a good reason why the internet disproves Christianity.
Made her go to church, can fact check the pastor on her phone in real time and know he's lying while his mouth is still moving. Google is religion's greatest enemy since Charles Darwin. Number 2.
Okay, hi, yeah. I wanted to call and just make it very clear that your first option right there, your first argument of why Christianity is dying, or just why people are leaving Christianity, it really didn't give a reason to why Christianity is, dying, or people are leaving Christianity. And to be very honest, you kind of just made yourself look like a fool a little bit. I appreciate you making this video, but I would argue against that, saying that no, we have the internet and we can actually look up the archaeology and the historic facts about Christianity, and we can actually have the evidence in our fingertips right on my phone. There's so many videos out there that talk about just the Dead Sea Scrolls. As a matter of fact, I just found on the internet that they found scrolls that are older than the Dead Sea Scrolls that proves the scriptures to be true. Wow. The internet is pretty cool.
Politics.
Huh?
Look, it's no secret I'm a liberal, but I do think the merging of white evangelical Christianity with
Why white? Why white? Why? Why'd you have to bring white? White. White evangelical Christians. I want to see, hold on.
liberal, but I do think the merging
Of white evangelical Christians? You know, it's funny because it's like, oh yeah, there's two black guys right there, but white evangelical, I guarantee you that if you were to ask the backgrounds of every single person, they're not all from America. Their families come from somewhere else. He is literally just proving to me that he's about race, and he loves racism. So I'm gonna skip this. Jeez, the internet, politics, morals. Morals, there we go, morals.
conservative Christians and the politicians they support have failed on the easiest moral questions of our time.
Like
Should
what?
gay people be allowed to get married? Of course, that's not even complicated. But religion often says no. Should women be housewives and basically subservient to men?
See, this is what religion does, and this is what the typical liberal does, okay? What religion does is it actually looks back at the times. We actually look back at history. We actually see the pattern of history and the other societies that practiced Sodom and Gomorrah, or sexual immoral practices and etc., and how that went for them. We see that in Rome, the sexual immoral, okay, let's just look at the bathhouses. Let's look at the bathhouses. People want to look at this little small place that got hit by a volcano eruption. It had ash all over them. What's that place called? It's, oh geez, I don't even know. I honestly don't even remember the name of that place. But, that place got hit, and people want like claim that, oh my goodness, that place was just peaceful people and etc. Those people had lives and families and kids and etc. and blah blah blah. There was no reason to take them out. Okay, I gotta get the name of that place. Hold on. Pompeii. That's what the place was called. Pompeii. The place was called Pompeii. And people like to bring up that place and say there was just innocent people. Pompeii was one of the worst immoral places in the time of Rome. The artwork on the walls in the bathhouses signified child molestation. Not only that, but Rome practiced that. Because in the bathhouses, they separated the men and the women. Who was under the bathhouses making the bathhouses and the big baths that they had? Huge baths. Warm. Children. Why? Because they were small enclosed places where they would throw coal and wood to burn and to cause a heating for the pools. Kids worked underneath there. Many bodies of children would be dragged out every single day because of heat and exhaustion and death because of just the amount of lack of water and food. So they would drag out kids' bodies. Matter of fact, we're going to talk about that. Even on their bathhouses all around Rome, they would have images of boys and men having intercourse.
Of course, that's not even complicated. But religion often says no. Should women be housewives and basically subservient to men?
So where in the scriptures does it say that women's roles is only to be in the household? Nowhere. It nowhere says that women must only step foot in the house or the kitchen to make a sandwich. Nowhere does it say that. So it's funny when atheists and agnostics and skeptics, they look at the scriptures and say, well, there's a reason why Christianity is dying, is because it enslaves women. Where if you actually look in scripture, it actually says nothing like that. Matter of fact, we see different roles, obviously, of women because that was during their time. But according to scripture, women are to submit to their husbands. Husbands are to submit and love their wives just like Christ loved the church. Christ served the church, washed the feet of people, spoke to people and the mother and the women with gentleness and love and compassion. I would say anything outside of that and being abusive verbally and physically, that is not of God and that is not of Christ. What atheists refuse to do is actually look at the scriptures, but instead they look at people who are fallen human beings, just like this atheist here, okay? We've all fallen short of the glory of God. So don't look at people as an example. Look at Christ. Imitate Christ. That's why we're told to look at Christ. Lean on Christ for an understanding not of your own. Because when we try to lean on our own understanding, guess what we do? We interpret things way too wrong. Look at Christ as the ultimate example. You're ignorant if you don't. You're dumb and blind if you don't. If I were to study Mormonism, I would be like, okay, Mormonism teaches this. But if a Mormon goes out and just does something horrific and bad, I can't say, oh wow, he's a Mormon, Mormonism must be false. No, I look at Mormonism and the scriptures that they read and take up and hold up to a high standard. I look at Mormon Smith, the founder of Mormonism, Joseph Smith, and I look at that and I say, okay, let's look at his teachings and let's see if they match up perfectly with reality. And if it doesn't, I can dismiss it. I can do the same thing with Islam and New Age and Buddhism and Hinduism and Taoism and the Baha'i faith and whatever. I can do it with that. If I screw up, it does not disprove Christianity.
No, they have their own lives. They are not here to serve us. Well, there are a lot of churches that might say women are equal, but whose treatment of women says something very different. Should transgender people be treated with respect and have civil rights and be allowed to serve in the military? Some Christians still don't believe they exist.
Transgenderism says there's more than two genders. Transgenderism disproves itself by the very definition of transgenderism. Of a man transitioning to a woman, there's only two genders still. Or a man or a woman transitioning to a man, there's still only two genders. What transgenderism now is trying to promote that there's more than two genders, that you can pick your own gender, you can do this with your gender, you can select your own pronouns and customize yourself now. Take a look at reality. There is only two genders. And this is the funny part about atheists and skeptics and liberals and Democrats. They don't care about what reality shows. And that's the problem. Biology class is very simple to understand that there are two different genders and there are two different sexes. And those sexes also determine your gender. Men don't have certain parts that women have. Women don't have certain parts that men have. Our brain function is different. Our body is different. Our muscles are different. Our internal organs are different. Let's not mention that we don't have a uterus. And I love it when the transgender community kind of says that. Oh, you don't have a uterus, you don't have an opinion. But if I transition and say that I'm a woman now, even though I don't have a uterus, I all of a sudden have an opinion?
Should we make it harder for poor people to have health care? Jesus was all about helping the poor, but conservative Christians have fought against what they call socialism.
Socialism is the unfair distribution of wealth. Okay? In the scriptures, God calls the Christians to go out and do the good works, to go and feed the homeless, to go out and take care of the widows. Okay? To help the sick. God calls the Christians because with accepting Christ, you should have an automatic transformation of the heart and mind. You should want to automatically do these good works. And that's also a way of knowing who's a Christian and a true follower of Christ is by the good works that they do. Not that they will save you, but it shows the transformation of your heart and mind. So when we don't do those acts, instead of saying, oh, Christianity must be false, I would applaud this atheist here to call out the Christians who are not acting like Christ. But instead, he's taken the illogical route and the ignorant route and saying that all of Christianity must be false because this person is not doing and acting like Christ. It's a really, really bad fallacy on his stand.
Should we discriminate against Muslims and atheists and treat them like outsiders? Most young people, I think, grew up surrounded by friends who didn't know.
He has another section called hypocrisy. Again, I just already talked about that. I don't need to go through that. Kids.
If you left church as you grew older, there was always a trend of people returning to church when they got married and had children. It kind of made sense. You wanted to raise your kids in church because you believed that was the right thing to do. It's where they learn ethics and morals. But going back to the hypocrisy thing, do you really believe you're helping your kids by having someone teach them myths about how the world was created? Or that God will send them to hell if they don't worship Jesus? Or that their religious beliefs are right but everyone else's are wrong?
What is the difference between me warning somebody? What is the difference between me warning somebody that, hey, if you rob the store because it's really bad, if you do that, that you're going to get arrested and spend the rest of your life in prison, okay? You're going to spend the rest of your life in prison. Versus, hey, your works are no good. And the funny thing is that Christianity isn't about doing good. It more has to do with you turning and accepting Christ. Because the Holy Spirit in Christ is what changes your heart, not you. So when I talk to kids and they ask me like, will I go to hell? I always tell them, that's up to you. That's up to you. I'm not going to force myself onto you. And Jesus is not going to force himself onto you. And I had to explain this to one of the kids at church one day. And I took them aside and I said, okay, you want to know if, why would God send someone to hell? And I gave them the example of I took him and I said, okay, I'm going to be like God right now. I'm going to act like God, okay? And pretend this is God. And I grabbed the kid and I'm trying to pull him. And I said, I want you to resist. I want you to say that I don't want to be with you. I don't want to be with you. And I'm going to pull this kid. I'm going to pull him hard. I'm going to say, no, you're coming with me. I love you so much. I'm going to force you with me. I am the creator of love, mercy, grace. I know what is good. I know what is holy. I'm going to force you with me. I am the righteous. I am the creator of all things. I am the Alpha and the Omega. And I'm going to force you with me. You're coming with me. I don't care if you don't love me or not. You're coming with me. Is that love? Is that love? And the kid answered, no, that's not love. And I said, why? And I told him because love does not force. Love does not force itself onto you. So God in the same way will not force himself onto you either. Now people like to say, well, at the end, God just does it. No, he doesn't. If you don't want to be with God on this earth now and have a personal relationship with him now, and if he's the definition of what we know as good love, mercy, grace, and all of above, and you don't want to be in his presence, he's not going to force you into his presence. So he has what is called hell, which is the opposite of God. It is the absence of God. You will no longer have to feel his grace and his mercy as you already do on this earth already. The very fact that you wake up in the morning, you breathe, and you take a breath, and the sun rises on the good and the evil, that is God's grace to you. That is God's free grace and mercy on your soul right there and now. The very fact that you even wake up. He's already giving you an example of who he is. Every morning you wake up. And then I took the kid and I said, hey, I'm going to stand apart from you and I'm not even going to grab you. I'm not going to try to force you into my presence. I'm going to stand here and say, please come to me. I love you. I care about you. Come to me so I can change your heart. So I can make you do good works. So I can make you realize that there is a better life to live than the one that you're living in now. Without grabbing the kid, and the kid walks over. And I said, okay, so by your choice, you choose to live according to Christ. By that choice, you are saved by grace and not by works. And now Christ is going to use you, and the Holy Spirit is going to transform you to do the same works that Christ did. But if you didn't choose to come to Christ, that's on you. That's on you. A parent can only go as far as raising a child to do good, but it is not the parent's fault if the child does bad or evil, if the parent did a good job raising them. And that's what Christ is. That is what our Heavenly Father is. He gave us the scriptures to know what is good and evil so we can learn. The Bible can be also named as the basic instructions before leaving earth. I like that because it kind of is. We read it so we can know who God is and how holy he is and what not to do and what to do. Is it God's fault that we choose to rebel against him? No. He gave us free will because he wanted a personal relationship with us. You can't have a personal relationship with a robot. This next one is science, which obviously I have so much stuff on my website. You guys can go and visit that right now on scientific evidence. Sex. Obviously, this is a short segment that he talks on. You can go on my website for that. Dating, you can go on my website for that. Friends.
This is along the same lines as dating. One reason so many people are tied to their religion is not because they agree with all the doctrine, but because that's their community. It's where their closest friends are. It's where they can volunteer. It's where they feel special. It's where they can find potential romantic partners. And I'm not knocking that. That's great if you like church. I hope you have something like that in your life. But these days, you don't need to be part of a church to find people to bond with. You can find communities no matter what your passion is. You like a video game? I promise there's an online forum obsessed with it and they'd love to talk to you. Same with meetup groups or intramural sports or subreddits or drama club. I mean, if you don't like the family you were born into, you can find a new one that embraces you with open arms. And when it's easy to find other communities, it's also easier to walk away from church if you're not that big into the dogma. Number 10, rich.
Okay, that one was kind of weird. I don't understand the whole point of that one. That was kind of stupid. Obviously, Christians are going to have friends that are non-believers. And obviously, I've never met one Christian that treats their non-believing friends with disrespect and just kind of bashes them or forces them to go to church and etc. Unless you go to the Westboro Baptist Church, I don't know what he's talking about. Like, I have friends that are non-believers and they know that I'm Christian. And they know that I won't ever force them into believing who God is. I'm open to conversation and they know it. So I don't understand why friends would be a topic of discussion talking about why people are leaving Christianity. I think that's kind of dumb. But, okay, the rituals thing's not really Christianity. I think he's going to be mostly talking about the whole Catholic thing, probably, and sitting down and standing up, maybe the sacraments of, like, the bread and wine, which I don't understand what the big issue on that is. If you actually studied the whole purpose of the sacraments of the bread and wine and what it calls us to do, you would notice that it's actually a good thing. But obviously, this atheist who's making these videos is not exactly smart enough to do his own research. So, yeah, this is the end of this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, this content here. I can't believe it's already 2023. I'm kidding. 2024. I'm gonna get so lost in saying that for like the whole more than half of the year now. I'm gonna say like it's 2023 and it's gonna be 2020. It's 2024. Like I already am getting confused. So thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe for more. Check out my website and check out everything. I've been uploading tons of stuff on the website, constantly updating it, putting blogs on it now. I've like posts that I've put on Facebook and etc. But I'm putting it on the website so everyone can see. Yeah, so we've got a lot going on this year. I hope you guys are having a fun time already and staying connected. I'm hoping you guys enjoying the Discord, by the way, because the Discord is open. It is open to join. So if you want to join the Discord, have that communication with others, and me, because I'm on it. So yeah.